So this is one of my favorite things that's in season, and it's a sugar snap pea, and it's a delicious crunchy food that you just eat straight with the shell, and you don't take out the peas. It's deliciously crunchy. Yummy. This is how they look on the plant when they're just about ready to harvest. They're nice and full and juicy. And as you can see, we have many over here. We planted them in early spring. And I'm glad we planted a lot because each plant only has maybe like 2 or 3 pods. So they're growing on a trellis that we just made ourselves. And as you can see, some of them are getting very tall and delicious. So these are sugar snap peas. Continuing with the topic of foods that are ready to eat in the garden are these yummy raspberries. Here they're growing right on the plant. These are the pink ones. Very delicious. And these are the few plants that we started out with, and we have lots more. It's a great part of summer. And one of the things that's so great about it, here's a red one, is that they will make fruit again. Right now it's mid-June, and in August we'll have some more berries. They have a small harvest later in the summer too. Yummy! And here are some berries that are just ripening now that I'm super excited about. These are red currants. They're really tart and delicious, and I'm happy that we could get them. They're very popular in Russia, where I was born, and in Europe, at least in Eastern Europe. We also have these black currants. And these white currants, or maybe they're pink currants. I don't know what they are. But I don't know if you can see, they look so awesome and translucent. You kind of see their tiny seeds. They're very tart and tasty. And finally, another berry that I remember from my childhood are gooseberries. There we go. These are not quite ripe yet. They kind of look like little watermelons, don't they? Here's what the whole gooseberry bush looks like. The whole plant. And so here are all the gooseberry and the 3 currants that we have. We have the white, red, and black, and gooseberries. And these are all berries that I remember from my childhood when I was little in Moscow. Some of you might know, that's where I was born. I lived until I was 12. So I was very excited that we could buy these berries for our garden here. And actually all of these 4 plants I got a year and a half ago, just as sticks. They were like 12-inch sticks. And look how great they're doing. Can't wait to eat them. So this is not quite ready for harvest, but this is a peach. It's a tiny little peach, and it's growing on a tiny little tree that actually we got at the nursery this year, this spring, just a couple months ago. And it was very exciting because it already had fruit on it, but it had way more, and some of them are falling. I don't know if it will make us any fruit this year that will ripen. But I know it usually takes fruit trees like a couple years to make fruit, so we'll see if we get any peaches. It's really tiny right now. It's like 1 meter tall. Here's another peach tree. It's about 5 feet tall, like 1.50 meters. About my height, 150 centimeters. So we got it this year. It doesn't have fruit. And this peach tree we got last year doesn't have fruit, so we'll just wait patiently. I hope we get some yummy peaches sometime. And then behind me is this bush. And Gleb in the pink shirt. This is a serviceberry bush. These bushes and trees with serviceberries grow around here. They're in Russian. I remember them from Russia. They're called irga. I only had them once at my great aunt's house. So I was so excited that we could get some for our garden too. It's hard to see, but those are 2 cherries on our cherry tree, one of our cherry trees. Yeah, and they're all the way up there in this giant cherry tree. It's our 4th summer, 4 summers since we planted it. It is really big, and this is the first year it's even making cherries, and we only had like 6 total. And here are other cherry trees that we hope will make fruits for us sometime. And here's the rest of our garden. Another cherry tree, and the rest of our veggies. And the other trees you see here are apple trees. Here's a close-up of one of the apples in the making. How big is it? still kind of small, but it's going to be a good one. This tree has lots of apples growing. It's very exciting. Last year they barely had any. You can see we have 6 apple trees. And we planted them, but this all used to be a lawn. And then after we planted them, we decided to make a big vegetable garden. So these poor apple trees, we kind of just made the garden beds around them. And some of them are making apples. Moving on to vegetables, or I guess they're fruits, are these cherry tomatoes. They're not ripe yet. These are just little green fruits. So cute. And lots of flowers. And these other tomato plants are going to make us big tomatoes, hopefully. They can be up to 1 or 2 pounds when they're ripe. Back here is one you can kind of see. This is our biggest fruit so far. It's still very green. And there's another one. These are called Kellogg's breakfast tomatoes, and they will hopefully be big and orange. They're super sweet. Speaking of tomatoes, this is a related plant to tomato. It's a tiny flower. Oh, where is it? There it is. It's going to be pepper. It's a pepper plant. Here we have 2 of them. And they're going to be red bell peppers. Sorry for the poor quality. There are hopefully some future delicious juicy peppers. And then right next to it we have these 3 dark stemmed plants, are eggplants. We got all of these as seedlings, and so the peppers are growing faster. And hopefully at the end of the summer we'll have some eggplants as well. So all of these are summer squash plants and zucchini plants. We started them all from seed about 5 weeks ago, and you can see they grow super fast. So it's been very rainy here, and I've been waiting to see some squash blossoms because flowers come first. And instead, guess what? I was able to find already tiny fruits. Hang on. Do you see this tiny little yellow thing? It's a future summer squash. It's so teeny. It is so tiny. So stay tuned. It's going to be big in about a month and delicious. This right here is a plant that kind of looks like a squash, but it's a cucumber plant. We also started it from seeds. Here they're trying to climb on the support. And I'm also waiting to see some flowers and fruits. It's been very rainy here, so they're muddy. And we have lots of cucumber plants. I love cucumbers, but the plants usually die very quickly. So we planted like 20 or 30. Hopefully we get some yummy cukes. And here are some flowers of bush beans or string beans. There's a little plant we started from seed maybe about a month ago. It's already making flowers. And most of this row is going to be beans. So it's going to be delicious. We have some string beans. I think the bush beans are the string beans, and then we also have some edamame soybeans. So we can make, last year we made a week's worth of Japanese style edamame at our house. So I look forward to doing the same later this summer. And here is a giant garden bed full of yummy kale that we started from seed. And this kale is actually called Russian kale. It's planted rather densely, but we sometimes just cut off entire plants when it's time to eat. They are delicious. Little bumblebee, thank you for making us tomatoes. Another plant that we started from seeds is this little plant. It's a relative of zucchini and cucumbers, and it's a watermelon. We have 2 little plants here, maybe 3. And a few over here. They're growing in this pile, and we may or may not have some baby watermelons. When we moved to this house, there was a fire pit. After not using it for a few years, we decided to plant some plants. And these are 2 strawberries. They got very big, and we're getting some berries over here. Here's some green strawberries. Oh, it's turning red. How exciting. Oh, what's this one? It's shaped funny. Let's look at the other one. I see some red berries. Oh no, this one's damaged. I think something ate it. Oh, it's probably slugs ate it. That's sad. However, this one looks good. Look forward to having lots of raspberries. I mean strawberries. Here's a flower. It's another tiny little fruit. Fun. And finally we have some herbs. These are two kinds of basil. This is Italian basil. And this is Thai basil. It's kind of spicy. It's the kind of basil you might put in a Thai curry. We started them from little seedlings and now they're getting big. Here we have a container with some cucumber plants. I told you we got a lot. And some herbs. I think this is cilantro that we started from seed. And then here we have some empty pots that are actually not so empty. We have teeny tiny plants that are going to be Brussels sprouts. Teeny tiny babies. We'll see how that works. And we have lots of mint. Mint. Can make mint tea, put it in recipes, just eat it straight. That's all, folks. Thanks for watching.